You're listening to an Ada's Books podcast.
Welcome to Parenting and Bonding with Children's Books. Each Tuesday in our Facebook community, we go live to chat with a children's book author about the magic of books. Each book and author was chosen with you and your children in mind. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's Author Spotlight. Okay, so we're just going to get to it, y'all. So I am here with Shermaine Perry-Knights, and I'm so happy to be speaking with her today about her book, I Move a Lot and That's Okay. So Shermaine wears a strategic business partner hat, offering advice to executives for process improvement. She wears many hats. She's also a children's book author, and that's why we're speaking with her tonight. And she also does some guided journals and stress relieving coloring books, and we'll talk about that a bit later, but the main focus will be I Move a Lot and That's Okay. Shermaine, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let me say first, I'm so happy to be here. Love that Aiden is joining us because I think he's going to pop up again, which I like. So my name is Shermaine, and if I could shorten it and say, I love all things growth, right? I am a learning and development professional, former 7th grade teacher, so I totally understand where we're coming from, and I'm an auntie of 4. So it's kind of like you're like a second set of parents, but not really a parent. You get a lot of it, but not all of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm an author. This book speaks to my heart, and it's really about my experience as a kid moving around the world in the military.
Okay, so the family, thank you for that. The family we read about in the book, is this mimicking your life to the T, or there's some made up stuff in there as well?
Mimics my life to the T.
Okay.
I changed the name of the individuals, like the necklace that she's wearing is the same necklace I wear. But, you have a lot of time during the pandemic. Yeah. So I was like, well, what do I want to do? I was like, you love to read, you love to write. I literally have a room full of books, but I'm not a hoarder. I promise I'm not a hoarder. I'm organizing them, right? Okay. And I said, I want to write. The easiest things to write about are your own experience. And I said, I want to write for children who don't have someone to talk about. They're relocating. Life is changing so fast. What does that look like for them, and just kind of speak to that social, emotional learning that we need during this time.
Yes, that's really good. And one of the things that I just wanted to point out, this book is, for military families. It's clear when you look at the cover of the book and you begin to read it, but this is really for any kid. Because all of our kids are dealing with a lot of change. Some of our kids have a lot of anxiety around change and don't handle it well. So the message of resilience in the book is really for any family who would like to speak to their children about how to handle and manage change, especially right now as we're dealing with the pandemic. There's a, change. Something is being announced every single day. I know in some states, in my state, Texas, we had a huge announcement today with the mask mandate and things like that. And it affects our children. And, we don't think about that. So, sometimes we don't think about it. So the purple dinosaur in the book, did you have a purple dinosaur as well that you lost on the plane?
Yeah. Oh, Cody, when I tell you, heartbreaking, heartbreaking. Yeah. So just like most kids, you have something that is yours, that you hold on to, that you want around you constantly. Yeah. Why? Because change was so constant for us growing up. Mm-hmm. And I love what you said about the book being for anyone who relocates a lot. It can be a family that moves multiple apartments because of a parent's job. But Cody was mine.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking when I left him on the plane. It still hurts me a little bit, right? Yeah. They're like, oh, we'll just buy you another one. But just think of how children have like a separation anxiety from adults, let alone an item that they love. I never got another one after that because I just didn't want it.
Yeah, I remember you said, I don't want an imposter.
I don't want an imposter. I still feel that way. When I see a little child with a stuffed animal, I am happy for them, but I still feel a certain way because Cody took a whole trip without me. And I'm in my 30s, but just imagine the memory, how that feels it was devastating as a child to lose the one thing you thought you can take across the world with you because you had made so many trips with me previously.
Yeah. So I feel like we hop right into it. I've read the book multiple times, but there are a lot of people here watching that haven't. Tell us about the book.
Okay. So in the book, you will meet Grace. And I just love the name Grace. That's why I named the character that. And you'll see her from a diverse family because that is the real world. A lot of people have diverse families. Yeah. She takes a trip from Georgia all the way to southern Italy. Mm-hmm. And like we did, they called it an adventure. You don't know when you're going to move. You just know you're getting ready to move again. Mm-hmm. And you will see her experience food in Italy. So she will try pizza, which is very different in southern Italy than it is here in the United States. Yeah. You will witness her learn some Italian. So your little reader will learn some Italian and it has the correct pronunciation. She'll talk about the money and just experience the smells of like sulfur in the air, which gives the geography element. And you'll also see the volcano because there's a volcano not too far from where we were living, which is very interesting to say the least, right? So you get to witness the highs and lows of her adventure. And throughout the book, she says, I'm okay. Because in a child's mind, like our mind, we are trying to find the balance emotionally day to day during this time period. And so you get to see it from a 7-year-old's mind of, okay, this is happening today. And I like that. Pizza's different, but it tastes good. So that's all right with me. And then you'll see opportunities where she's heartbroken over what's occurring. I don't know if I'll see my best friend again, but as long as they got ice cream, I'm okay with that. So we always find this balance of what works for us daily. And that's why I say it ties into that social, emotional learning that we want.
Yeah, interesting. And I want to go back to the best friend thing real quick, because you said something in the book that kind of caught my eye or my mind. You said, she was my first friend and my best friend for now. And I don't think a lot of kids think that way about a best friend. They think this is my best friend and they'll be my best friend forever and ever, you know? In a military kid's mind, as you were a military kid, did you begin to think of things, everything you encountered, as temporary?
Yeah, everything is temporary.
Yeah. Okay.
I was born into the military. Like I was born in San Diego. And then, I like to tell it was a warm day in February. I like to tell that story. And a couple weeks later, we shipped out.
Yeah.
Like literally as soon as they have clearance and you have a passport, we shipped out. We went back to England because we were just coming to visit family. And we moved every 2 years, every 3 years, at the most every 4 years. And so you quickly adapt the theme that change is constant and everything is temporary. Mm-hmm. So you want to make the most of who you're around and what you have access to in every experience while you're able to, because this is just for right now. And so I think that's a concept we have to teach more of, because for me, every day is special. Anytime I get to interact with someone that I haven't seen in a while, mm-hmm. I love it because you never know, not to be morbid, but you don't know what the next day holds for you or for that person. And so that's why I say she's my best friend for now, because I don't know if I'll meet another best friend. And I gave the character another name for my best friend at the time, but when we moved, I actually didn't see her for many years, because keep in mind, we were writing letters at that time. Yeah. And I would write to my class, and the teacher would read them, but I didn't get letters back. So I didn't know if they were getting the letters. And after a couple of months of writing like one letter every few weeks, I just stopped writing. Maybe 10 years later, I met her at another military base where were we? We were in Germany. Okay. And I was just like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you in forever. She's like, oh, we used to read your letters all the time. I was like, but you never wrote to me. And so as a kid, you're saying, maybe they didn't get them, they got them, they laughed at all the funny things I said, but didn't take the time to respond. So you don't know. And so everything is just, for the moment, and you just enjoy it. Like books become constant, and those adventures that you can enjoy because you can have it as many times as you like, that you want to read a great book, but the friends, they become temporary.
Okay. Do you think, I'm thinking now, as a military kid, when you're a military kid in the current day, right? Because of like social media and the internet and things like that, how much do you think that experience has changed? Like friends being temporary, do you think more so now you can keep better contact with people, or?
Well, the world is more connected now. Yeah. Remember when you and I were younger, we were writing letters to people. Mm-hmm. If someone let you use their house phone, you could call. But mm-hmm. I wasn't making a call from Italy all the way to Georgia and talk to my friend, they're not going to let you spend this kind of money on the phone because you want to spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, right? I mean, this was before Skype and Facebook Live and all of these things. But now it makes it easier for children to keep up with each other. And I think that's important for the social aspect of learning. You want to be able to have that connection, even if it's virtual. You can feel as though you're spending time with that individual. So we missed a lot of opportunities to spend time with family because we had moved so much. That was just our life at the time. The trade-off is you get to experience a lot more art and science abroad, but you miss that time that you would be spending with families. Let's say you had lived your entire life in the same city.
You know what I liked about your book is that for like, if you guys are watching and if you haven't read the book yet, if you are just starting out, like maybe in the military, I'm not sure, it's the perfect book because it walks you through step by step what to expect when you are about to move, to a new place. And I really liked how you ordered the book in that way. I
tried to go back in my mind and say, okay, what occurs? You get orders. But I said, wait a minute, this is not only for the military community. How would you explain a military order to someone else? And from a child's mind, it's like, well, the big boss says they have to do it and you can't whine. I could hear a kid saying that, right? And so being able to explain that, I said, okay, how do I take advanced military terminology and make it very simple for anyone to understand? Because you want to make sure that your book is not so much in a niche that it can't speak to another group. And then I said, wait a minute, those children who are experiencing homelessness are moving quite a bit. And perhaps they lose items or things are lost or broken and they have to move. Who's writing for them? I said, maybe this can also speak to their experience, not 100%, but maybe it could speak to 75% of their experience. How do you make the themes mesh?
Thank you. You said there was a quote that I read in the book. Well, I'm going to quote it. You said, where is it? I'm sorry. Okay, you said, I'm a soldier too. I have notes over here. That's what I'm looking at, y'all. You said, I'm a soldier too, a tiny soldier in the army. I am tough. And it was a little bit longer than that. But I liked that you seem to adapt that, to your life. Is that common across military families for the children to think of themselves as soldiers as well?
Yeah, it's your job. Okay. It's your job to fit in, right? It's your job to help that parent. So just giving you my example, like I've lived so many places. Like we lived in Turkey and Germany and Italy and England, whole bunch of places in between. There was 1 year I spent in between 3 different schools, 2 different countries, right? And it becomes your job to observe your environment, to make it easy for that service member to do what they need to do by you like really learning the area and adjusting, right? So you're supposed to adjust wherever you are. And so you start to think of yourself like, well, they need me to, I guess it's a little inward, but they need me to do this so that they can do that, right? And so you start to think, how can I adjust? How can I blend in? How can I observe my environment to make sure that I'm safe, but I'm still producing? And so there would be times as like a 7-year-old, you could go to the store by yourself, right? Yes, this happened before social media, right? We had a lot of responsibility as kids. They would let you go to the store by yourself and grab a few groceries, not an entire cart, but a few items, give you some money. And it was so powerful. I could use my Italian and ask them how much. Pay, get my, it's literally 1 block away, get a few treats for myself and maybe some milk and bring home, right? To have that level of responsibility for children to feel as though they also contribute to the household. I think that's a powerful idea.
Yeah, it is. It is. Also powerful, kind of on a different topic, is I love the way the book really highlights the sacrifices that children have to make in these situations. I don't think that as adults, we often think about that when change is affecting the whole family. We are not considering the sacrifice children have to make. It's like children make sacrifices. What? Like they just
like they don't just eat all the
food. Yeah. So what were when you began to write this book, how did you intend for parents to use it with their children? Did you think of it more of an independent reader, a read aloud, or both?
I thought of it twofold. One is an independent read, but I also thought of it as a teaching tool for you to sit and discuss your child's feelings with them. So in the dedication, I remarked that, you know, this is about your experiences are valid, your emotions are valid, you know, just everything about you matters, right? You know, I know everything says this matters. That's a kind of a slogan now. But this idea that children do sacrifice, they are changing their entire world based off of the parents' choices, right? Or lack of choices. And so I think the school system really has a very good understanding of this when they're counseling children, and teachers are working to really fill in those gaps for children's learning. It could be in many areas. It might not be emotional. It could be mental. It can be physical. They're really trying to fill in those gaps to help children at their grade level or higher. The school system's got it, but everyone else doesn't see children as sacrifice, and they just see it as, okay, this is just kid. Something happens before they adjust. And there's several months of a time period, even if they're going to a new school in the same city from, let's say, elementary to middle school, something happens. There's an adjustment period. And if you're not careful, some people lose that connection they have with those kids because they're not paying attention to the adjustment period. They're not given the same freedom to experience their emotions or to talk about it the way that we are as an adult. And so I really wanted to make sure that people understand children are sacrificing, whether we realize it or not. Yes, their sacrifices are solely based off of our decisions, but it's still a sacrifice and it's valid nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree with that. So you talked about schools really getting it. Have you, teachers, and you were a 7th grade teacher, have you experienced any feedback from teachers maybe using the book in the classroom, or, you know, just school systems, you know, at large? Tell us about that.
Yes, I actually had a few teachers reach out to me. The first said, I want to include this on my blog because I can use the geography elements in my standards. I said, okay. Someone else said, I want to use the aspect of learning a new language and share that with them, because you get to learn how to say your name in Italian. You'll learn how to order some pizza and to say, how much is that, right? So just small phrases, but again, incorporating it very early. Someone else said, I want to use this under Month of the Military Child, which is April, or during the Veterans Day, and talk about military families, again, just for that diversity and inclusion. And others were saying, you know what, I just want to use this for the psychological aspect. I just want to maybe have one page and talk about that and ask them, what are they feeling around this? And I said, oh, wow, this is a lot more powerful than what I intended. So while I was just trying to share a little bit of my heart with others, teachers are, you know, they're doing what they do. They see so much more, and they're connecting it to standards and using it in their classrooms.
Yeah. So Aiden, you know, he's virtual schooling. So a lot of parents they have more visibility to what their kids are learning on a day-to-day. And so his first session in the morning is all about SEL, right? And I know that your book, when I read it, you know, the theme of resilience is really heavy. Confidence is really heavy. What other themes did you really want to speak to teachers and parents in reading this book?
The theme of hope, because at some point we're going to get on the other side of COVID-19, that theme of hope, so they have something to look forward to. In there, we're also talking about grief, you know, the loss of friends, the loss of not seeing family consistently, the loss of her personal items. And when things are broken, how upset a child can become, even if let's say we ball up their paper and throw it away. It's very insignificant to us as adults, but to them, that was their drawing.
Yeah.
And it really hurt their little feelings, right? A 4-year-old's feelings can really impact them the way that they feel. And as somebody say, a 4-year-old, yes, they all have little feelings, right? Just like we have feelings. So something like that, the grief, we talk about just growth, you know, your own personal growth. It is important for children to learn resilience, to learn that they have some control of their day. And I'm not saying everything, but they should have one element that feels like they made that decision, right? So she makes a decision, I want ice cream. I want to ask for it in Italian, right? So, you know, it's a very small decision, but if we could all find opportunities to allow them to pick something, even if you're teaching virtually and you had one page of this book and you talked about money, you could give them the opportunity, because it talks about the US dollars versus euros.
Yes.
You could give them the opportunity to come showcase a bill or some coin that they have and to talk about where they got it from. It may just be a quarter to us, but to them, it's a powerful story about how they bought something and they got change. And it was one shiny quarter and they've been holding on to it for weeks. Just giving them that power to tell their story.
Yeah. So it was interesting when I was reading when she first got to Italy or Italia, right? Because you tell us how to pronounce it in the book. The sulfur smell. I wasn't aware of that. Is it that strong?
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Sulfur is a eye-opening experience. They call it solfatara, right? That's the Italian word for sulfur.
Okay.
And when you smell it, you go, like it kind of burns. So when I think matches have sulfur, if I remember right. Like, when you light a match, that funny smell you have at first, just picture that maybe times 1,000.
Okay.
It's an overwhelming smell. And I said, oh, what is that? Somebody explained, oh, that's sulfur. And I said, well, I got to get used to this because I'm going to be here the next 3 years.
Yeah.
But just having those first new experiences are important. So even daily, if let's say teachers decide they want to allow kids to journal for 5 minutes, it could become a very powerful journal in a couple of months. And they felt as though they own the process and you still met your standard for social emotional learning.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So I know you have the books behind you. Can you show us the book?
Oh, yes. So I also have it in front of me.
Oh,
so I learn a lot, and that's okay. You'll notice that it's a diverse family, and Grace is dreaming of a beautiful beach because she heard that Italy has beaches that she can play on. And she says, I'm okay with going if I can play on that beach and it exists, right? Because sometimes we tell them a story so we can get them to the next place, and that's what happens there.
Okay.
The other piece here, I had a number of friends that also serve that are female soldiers. They said, how dare you write a book, Shermaine, and not include a female soldier? So I took the same story and, of course, made the mom the soldier, and his name is Axel.
Okay.
The dad is a supportive spouse, which is a nuance, but it is something that you witness as well in the military community.
This is interesting, you guys, because when Shermaine first expressed interest in being on the podcast and I reviewed her materials, I didn't see the book about Axel. Okay. And so when I went recently to go back and review her stuff again, I was like, where did this Axel book come from?
And I love her hair being big like that. I love that.
Love it.
Big, wild hair. Why? Because that's our experience sometimes, right?
Okay. So tell us about the illustrator.
So the illustrator, what I did is there's 2 ways you can secure an illustrator. One, you can do all these royalties, right? You can pay them every single time. Somebody said, I almost named my son Axel. Oh, how about that? Axel was one of my favorite students, right? Many years ago in 7th grade. He was interesting. But the illustrator. So what I chose to do was do a work for hire, which means that I own all the images. I tried to create the story, and then I said, how do I put what's in my head on paper? And I need to create detailed notes for each page. So with everything, oh, thank you. Somebody says illustrations are beautiful. I said, okay, I want this person to have a cartouche, which is this Egyptian necklace. One side is hieroglyphics, the other side is English. I said, because I wear this as well. So I want to make sure the character has that. So really just creating my own drawings and having detailed illustrations saying, you know what, this is what the foothills in Naples look like. I wanted to have this, and I want to see the volcano in it. And so really giving them pictures to create these illustrations was powerful. And we just worked together, and it looked like night versus day when we finished.
Yeah, the illustrations are beautiful, and I really enjoyed them. The full color pages throughout the book. It was really beautiful. So, shout out to the illustrator, on the book. And so the same illustrator from book to book, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I thought it was important to have some type of continuity. I said, let's keep the same person. I mean, great job. She's a student. Fantastic work.
Yes. So we're almost at the end. So this is the time. If you guys have any questions or anything for the author, it's a good time to drop them in the comments, and we'll get to those toward the end. I forgot to say before, this is episode 10 of the podcast, and I'm happy that we have made it that far. We're going to be announcing a giveaway soon for episode 10. And if you guys are listening or watching, it's a good time to hop in, to the group for that giveaway. So, let me see. I feel like we've talked about so much, throughout the book. We talked about this before we got on live. Throughout the book, page to page, there is this word okay, and it stands out because it's in color, different colors on different pages, and it's in bold and it's big. Tell us the significance of the word okay to you in this book.
So I think of a mental health check-in, right? Not to be too heavy about it, but every day we are living, thriving, and in some cases just surviving day to day, right? And so let's say if you would ask me how I'm doing, some days I'm fantastic. Some days I'm just all right. Some days I'm okay. Other days it's like, yeah, some days it's like, I really just want to lay back down and try to wake up and do something else, right? Yeah. And so I thought about that scale. Most kids just say, I'm fine. And they run off and they're playing and they're doing something else, right? And they may not truly be fine or in the best of moments. So I found opportunities for Grace to say, that's okay. I'm okay. As her own coping mechanism to say, you know what, if I can just get to the next level, that's all right with me. Like if I can have ice cream and it still tastes good, all right. Because a child might say that, like, I don't want to go on this road trip, but I'm all right if we can stop here or if we can, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
So I think it just kind of became like emotional roller coaster. And sometimes she's saying, I'm not okay with that. And other times she's saying, I'm okay with that. And so I would find myself as a kid saying that a lot, like, I'm okay. Be like, Shermaine, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. To be talking to myself like, you know what? You are okay. This is temporary. Move forward. And I don't think any child is built to nobody's a robot to just drive past things, but you have to experience the moment, feel the emotion, and find a way to get on the other side of it.
Yeah. It's funny. I think adults and kids alike, they all have these things that they say that kind of help them cope in a moment. I know with Aiden, I can see when he's like dealing with something, and then he'll take that last, like that exasperated breath, like, and then I'm like, okay, maybe he's processed it. I don't know. We'll see. And I have a friend who's watching. She's in the group, and sometimes when we talk, she's like, "It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Everything's fine, right? It's fine."
I feel that it's fine. It's fine. I'm good.
It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be.
I'm gonna walk around the blocks a few times, and I'm good.
It's going to be fine. So let me see. I'm going to share with you guys Shermaine's information so that you can find her on Facebook, Instagram, and also her website. They are all the same. Before we get to any questions that anybody may have, we covered a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised if people are like, you asked them everything. But on the website, you have coloring books. Do you have any with you today?
Oh, yes, I do. Okay. So when I say I love to color, so just like Grace, I will buy bubble wrap from the dollar store and jump on that. Why? Because I love it. There is nothing like making noise with packaging bubble wrap. Okay. I like to blow bubbles. I mean, the simple things in life, and I like to color. So I'll share with you one of my coloring books. Now, for me, I did some research and realized that coloring has so many adult coloring. It's not just for the kids, guys. This is for us. So I hide the good crayons and the good color pencils for myself, right? You keep the ones that they've broken for them. Now, they said adult coloring has physical, mental, and emotional health benefits. It's a big thing now, and it helps us to be okay, if you will. So I will show you this. This is one of my favorite coloring books.
Okay.
50 Amazing Mandalas. So you have some that are more detailed, and then of course there are some simple ones. Well, I don't know if any of them are really simple, but I enjoy it.
Did you just choose that one as the more simple one?
I did, right? So it wasn't really simple. That's why I was like, ooh, it's not simple. But you get the picture, right? Some of them are simple, some are not. But adult coloring, you're talking about wanting to free yourself for a little while? Oh, yes, adult coloring. I tell everybody else now, goodbye, y'all, goodbye. It's my room, I'm coloring. See, somebody says they love adult coloring books, so you know what I'm talking about. And sometimes I put them on the fridge when I'm done. But just think about kids, right? Right in that sweet spot of like 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 years old, they love to color. Nothing in the world is bothering them. They color, they do the angry color, they break crayons, they put it up on the fridge, and it's like all the stress that would have been there is gone. We got to go back to the basics, like coloring. It seems simple, but color for 20 minutes a day or even 10 and watch how it really makes you feel good.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good. It's really true, and a lot of offices, around the world, are starting to put adult coloring books in like a break room, for the adults to help us, deal with the fact that we're working so hard. So,
Yes, I'll tell you, I'm working with a few school districts, and if you
Mhm.
guys want this for yours, just reach out to me. They're doing what they call stress management workshops because
Yeah,
teachers, God bless you. Okay. I taught seventh grade for 2 years in person. I don't know how you're doing this virtually. I mean, yes, and all of that, right? You're okay. You're all of that, right? But what they're doing is they're creating stress management workshops. And part of the curriculum is not just pairing with a therapist and talking around the concerns, but they have adult coloring books like mine. They incorporate that into courses for teachers to help ease just a little bit of the stress of being in person and virtual teaching or whatever mixture you're under. So if you'd like that, let me know. I'll work with your district or your school to get you guys some great coloring books. Of course, it's not free, but I could throw one in your giveaway today. I can do that.
oh, we would love that. We would love
Okay.
it. We're all about that. Okay, well, we are at our time. Is there anything else on your heart to share about your book or just in general with the group?
I just love to connect with people. So connect with me. Yeah, I think with books, it's a great adventure. Like you can't go wrong with a good book. It's not just for the kids, it's for us. And perhaps I'm not saying books provide all parenting tips, but it does give some gems to help parents along the way. Why not have a great book like this? Not just because Shermaine wrote it, but you can allow them to feel their emotions and
Mhm.
then have a teachable moment and talk with them about how they feel
Mhm.
switching schools or not seeing their friends or whatever it is. You can't go wrong with a good book. And just like that, you've opened up a conversation they wouldn't have shared with you otherwise.
Yes, yes. I always tell parents, if you only have 10 minutes a day to read to your child, make 5 of them actually reading and 5 of them for the chat that comes with the book, to just talk to them about, what they've been feeling and things like that. So definitely agree. I'm just going to go in and click and see if I can see the comments. One second. Okay. It always messes up for me right when I click in. So,
It
so
just
when
wants to
I'm
get
on,
you.
yeah, so when I'm looking on Facebook, I can actually see the names with the comments. When I'm looking here on this, what I'm using, I can't see the names.
That's all right.
So yeah, it's not loading up for me over there. So let's just
I'm gonna
see.
call them all best friend. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's good. Let's see. We were thinking, Aiden and I, he was thinking of saying bookmates. Hey, bookmates. So
Oh, that's cute. I like that, bookmate.
So we'll see. We have Rachel Amber. Hi, everybody. I can't see. I almost named my son Axel. I can't see who that is. Hey, Tristan. She says the pictures are beautiful. Yes, keep the illustrator. Is there another book coming?
There is.
Okay.
So the next book is already in the works, and it's going to be around the idea when both parents have a different assignment and the kid potentially has to go live with a different family member because that happens quite a bit, right? For
Mm-hmm.
whatever their choices are, that child now has to move and live somewhere else. Talk about their experience. So we're going to keep talking about moving, but we're going to talk about it from the standpoint of now I'm going back home to live with everyone else, but this isn't happening.
Yeah.
Like, they miss their parents. And then for like my own experience where the service member deployed to war and came back a little different. So we're going to talk about PTSD in another book as well, because that's real and they change and it's not their fault, but the personality, the emotions, everything behind it, like a kid experiencing that doesn't really understand why this person is mean now. And it's not that they're mean, but they're experiencing so much trauma mentally that they can't, communicate that. So I want to talk about that as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is great. PTSD is something that really does need to be discussed, especially at the kid level with the children. So we're looking forward to that. Let us know, please. Let me know when it comes out. We'll be on the lookout. Somebody said, preach about the bubble wrap.
I'll tell you that bubble wrap, okay? So when you see it, people are like, oh, can I have some? I'm like, no. And I'll just quickly wrap it up and push it in my purse. Because sometimes you're a little stressed. You just want to pop one of those bubbles. You cut your little piece and then you put it back in your purse. Yeah. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
No, because you just reminded me of something, but that's not for tonight. So Mom is here. Hey, Mom. Thank you for watching. Hey, guys. I see a whole bunch of people could join in the comments. Okay, I'm not going to hold you guys for too long, but it was fun talking with Shermaine tonight. Thank you all for joining. Oh, Andre, it was Andre about the bubble wrap. Hey, Andre. All right. I guess this is so fun. I don't want to let you go, but thank you everybody for watching. Make sure that you check out Shermaine on all her social media. Connect with her. She says she loves connecting. Everybody have a great night.
All right. Well, let's stay connected and do it again.
Yes. Sounds good.
Let me know who won so I can send the adult coloring book.
I will let you know. I'll let you know how the giveaway is going to work too.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.